Hey guys, and welcome back. I just wanted to take a second to thank everybody for all the support. It really means the world to me, and I'm glad to see everybody's back. I hope everybody enjoyed the first episode, and if you did, I think I've got another really interesting film for you. Today, I'm going to be discussing 2007's independent film. Um, it's called The Man in the Chair. This stars the always wonderful Christopher Plummer, as well as Michael Aragon. And Michael, I'm sorry because I know I just horribly butchered your last name, and I'm just bad with last names. So sorry about that, Michael. As well as those guys, we also have Emmett Walsh, Robert Wagner, Tabor Schroeder, uh, and we have Joshua Boyd. Those are some of the more notable actors in the film. And I guess I'll just get right into it, guys. So this film begs the question of what happens when you get a juvenile delinquent teenager and a cranky old man who happens to be an alcoholic, and you stick them together in a film. It asks that question. Not only does it ask that question, but it also answers it. Overall, you get a pretty awesome little movie. So yeah, maybe I'm playing my hand a little early by saying that, but I'm okay with that. So hopefully you are as well. So to get into the story, basically we have Cameron Kincaid, played by Michael Aganaro. Again, Michael, sorry for butchering your last name. He's kind of a troubled youth. He likes to do things like cut class, skip school, and occasionally steal cars that just happen to look like the car from the movie Christine, the Stephen King movie. So he's also an aspiring filmmaker. Yeah. So that's your Cameron Kincaid character in a nutshell, and then his co-star, excuse me, would be the Mr. Christopher Plummer, and Christopher Plummer is basically a cranky old bitter man, alcoholic, former member of the film industry. He was basically a gaffer. He worked on a lot of the old films, like some of the Orson Welles films, like Citizen Kane and what have you not, stuff like along those lines. Just a second here for those people that don't know like a lot of the technical stuff. Like I know some of the stuff, not all of it. Basically, a gaffer, to break it down into layman's terms, is basically an electrician, or in more specifically, the head electrician. So, sorry to go off on a sidebar there, but I know there's a lot of people that are like, "What the hell's a gaffer?" It's not a word that your average person just watching a film is going to be overly familiar with. So, I just wanted to take a second and just explain that to you. So the story is about these two characters, and how they form like this unlikely, which originally starts off as like an agreement and then turns into a friendship. Basically, you have Cameron Kincaid, like I said, a young guy. He wants to become a filmmaker, and you have Christopher Plummer, who's a bitter old guy that used to work in the industry. And how they meet is they both go to this old movie theater in LA that plays old movies, and you see Christopher Plummer's character, whose name is Flash Madden, and Flash is always drunk half the time, and he's usually yelling at the screen. And on this particular instance, he's yelling at the screen. And then you have Michael Aragorn's character, Cameron Kincaid, who sees him and he kind of chuckles. But he's also kind of intrigued, like, what's up with this guy? He's bitter and he's drunk and he's yelling at the screen, but he seems like he might actually have a little bit of knowledge here. So what happens is he essentially follows him home, and he realizes that he's at one of these, dilapidated old nursing homes, and he's still intrigued. He's like, what's up with this guy? And because Cameron is kind of like an aspiring filmmaker, he's like, this guy, might have some knowledge to give me. He might be able to help me. Cameron realizes that he has an opportunity to enter a film competition and potentially win a scholarship. So what he does is he basically gets a job at this nursing home as a groundskeeper. And he approaches Flash and he's like, hey, you're obviously someone that has experience in the industry. Um, I have to make this film. Can you help me? And Flash is like, get out of here. I don't want anything to do with you. I'm too busy drinking and smoking cigars. And Cameron's like, well, maybe I can give you some booze and cigars, And of course, who isn't lured in by the promise of booze and cigars? Aren't we all, So they agree to an unlikely business plan, which is he helps them out with this film and he provides them with booze and cigars. And at first it's kind of like, this kind of like rocky relationship. They kind of grow on each other. In the beginning, Cameron wants to make a movie about skateboarding. And Flash is like, listen, that's stupid. I'll hook you up with a writer, Basically, everybody in this nursing home are people that used to work in the industry. You have set designers and, you have screenwriters and you have all these different people that used to work in the industry. Now, unfortunately, they're in this neglected nursing home, and it's not a good scene, you can see it's a little bit run down, you like when I'm watching this, because I'm naive and I'm probably not the only one. I would imagine, if you worked in the industry, the Hollywood film industry, you would imagine that like even the people in the technical areas, you would think that they would have money, like they'd be, maybe not, they wouldn't be making the DiCaprio, Tom Hanks kind of money, but they'd be pulling in some decent bread. And by the time they hit retirement age, why would they be in a nursing home? You know what I mean? But no, you realize that, especially I guess the older generation that work in the film industry, if you weren't a star or you weren't a director, and even then sometimes when it came to retirement age, you just weren't bringing in the kind of bank that, you'd go live the good life when you went to retire. So that was interesting. I thought that was very interesting. So basically, he's like, you know what, that skateboard idea is not good. Cameron's like, he notices how bad, what kind of horrible shape everything's going on in this retirement home. And he's like, maybe I should just make a 10-minute short doc about the nursing home industry and how it's gone to shambles and how these people are treated, and Flash gets everybody to kind of agree to help him make this little film. And that's kind of essentially the core of it. Of course, along the way, they have some obstacles, like, for example, funding. Even in the day of age of technical digital stuff where everything's so much cheaper, they still need money, and Cameron's a poor high school kid. And this Flash character, let's face it, he's a bitter old drunken guy who's living in a dilapidated nursing home, so he doesn't have any money. So the next challenge becomes, how do we raise the money? Where do we get the money from? And Flash comes to the conclusion there is one person that he can go to. It's not someone he wants to go to. This person is a character named Taylor Moss. Taylor Moss is played by Robert Wagner, who's a wonderful actor. And we find out that Taylor Moss is a big Hollywood producer. Besides being a big Hollywood producer, unfortunately, he also stole Flash's wife. She cheated on him and left Flash for Taylor Moss. But they approach Taylor Moss, Robert Wagner, and he agrees to fund the movie for $5,000. So they're excited about it, and what happens next is they go ahead and they make this short little film, and you see what's going on in these nursing homes and the kind of conditions they're in. I am going to give you a couple spoilers here. Sadly, after they complete the film, Mr. Plummer's character, Flash Madden, passes away. They do manage to complete the film, though, and he's able to submit the the film, but unfortunately he doesn't make the deadline because he's in the hospital with Flash. Because unfortunately Flash passes. Flash does impart some words of wisdom. He's like, hey, listen, doesn't matter how big you become or how little you are, just remember to treat people the way you want to be treated. Treat them with dignity, treat them with respect, treat them with love, you know? And I think it's a really cool takeaway. And what's also cool is you realize, like, Cameron's character learns a lot throughout the film. And you realize that, like, this is the kind of film school that you just can't get in film school, you know? Like, this is working with all these wonderful characters and hearing their stories. So I mean, that's kind of like the encapsulation of the film. This is only my second episode, guys, so I know I'm still fumbling a little. I'm still learning a lot. I'm hoping to have a little laptop coming soon, and I'm going to get some other equipment, so you'll see a lot, hopefully a little slightly dip in the quality as far as going a rank up a little, you know, getting a little better quality. I'm going to be working on getting into the world of editing and stuff. Right now, what you're seeing is me with my phone and just trying to do everything in like one take. So there are some hiccups along the way and a little stumbling. So I do apologize. But I did want to get this episode out there for you guys. And I'm hoping by episode 3, it'll be a little more polished. And hopefully you guys are here for the ride and enjoy what you're seeing. So I hope everybody has a great weekend. And thanks again for watching my video. I'll see you guys soon.